Hey Fanalogs! This week on Analog, we talk about Omega, we talk about Smashville, and we talk about who's gonna win, SonicFox or Zero.
God, I know I'm the one who spawned Fanalogs, but I still hate it so much. We also talk about the intriguing statements, to say the least, made by Mr. Reggie about the future of Smash, of Melee, of Ultimate. Are we gonna lose our Nintendo money?
Oh no! I guess we'll have to live with UCF for the rest of our days.
This is Analog. Hey guys, welcome to Analog, the podcast where everything's made up and the seeds don't matter.
That's right. This week we're on episode 12, which means we've officially doubled the number of summits.
It's really, I'm actually really disappointed in Summit, because when we reached the same number as them, I thought it was the beginning of an era where we were going to be competing with them, both going at the same rate.
Yeah.
And they sort of dropped the ball on
this
one.
They really did.
Slime, I don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Seriously.
Actually, I guess there have been. They actually do summits pretty frequently with Dota Summit and...
Okay. And Summit of Power.
Summit of Power.
Yeah.
But we have way more Smash summits than them. So...
Yeah. Just wait till we start doing analogs of power.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's actually an intriguing
Coming
idea.
at you this week, Thursday.
Hook Gang God will be on the podcast.
Doesn't he live in New York?
Along with his furry art drawing girlfriend.
Doesn't he live in New York?
New Jersey.
New Jersey?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you see that like, Hook Gang Gods drew furry porn and he liked it and it showed up on everyone's timeline? Also because...
I did not see
it. It wasn't actual porn, but also because SonicFox liked it, so...
I'm kind of numb to it now after having followed SonicFox for a while.
Yeah, me too.
Did you see SonicFox tweeted? He was like,
to all the
Smashers,
yeah.
like, you're accepting furry drawings onto your timeline now.
Yep, that was really funny. Yeah, we got actually not that much to talk about this week. We went over, we sort of glossed over Wizzy versus HBox, so we're gonna briefly talk about that.
Yeah.
And then Omega 2, Smash Adelphia.
Couple regionals.
Speaking of SonicFox,
there's some beef. Some
beef.
Artificial beef.
With Zero. Yeah, we'll talk about...
Not 100% real
We'll talk about how 100% organic that actually is.
Or isn't. Find out.
But let's talk about Wizzy versus HBox, because we did only rag on Wizzy last week.
So for literally like 10 seconds.
but he did fucking he beat HBox twice, right, which is pretty good.
So I was watching Summit of Power that whole weekend.
Yeah.
I was playing DBFZ.
Yeah, that's what I was doing too.
And I wasn't really paying attention. I was like, there was another tournament that weekend too, and top 8 happened like in the morning.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh cool, like Smash is done for the day. And then I go on Chillin's stream later and he's watching Wizzy versus HBox, and I'm like, oh, I guess there's another tournament going on right now. I better check it out. So I opened the stream and they're like on game 5 of set 2.
Yep.
And my initial reaction was to go to Twitter and to tweet my thought, which was that it was the worst game of Melee I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Until like HBox wrested a whiffed grab, and I was like, okay, there's a good piece of Melee. Like, you punished something that he missed, but everything else looked god awful.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you think when HBox is... I feel like HBox is one of the only players who, when he's not playing well, is really like switches his mode of play and his attitude towards the game. Because HBox is like, he was laughing that entire 2 sets whenever Wizzy would get something crazy on him. Mm-hmm. And I've seen it a lot where whenever HBox looks like he's going to lose because he's not playing well, he sort of he does the jovial laughing, acknowledging when someone does good thing actually pretty frequently, but he does it a lot when he's getting fucked up.
Yeah.
And I think that might represent like a mindset shift from him.
I wonder how much of that is like for the perception of the set versus like his actual competitive approach.
Right. It has to... I think it's both.
Yeah.
I think it's both. I think it probably is like, it makes it seem like he's not trying super hard.
I mean, that's happened to me before too. Like, it definitely makes you feel a little better.
Yeah.
But also from when I've talked to him about like competitive mindset, he's very much a like ride or die kind of player. Like, he's not going to give up until the game is fully over.
Which is why it's so interesting, because when I see that sort of shit from him, I frequently am like, oh, he's going to lose.
So I want to say that that's a way of him redirecting any sort of frustration.
Yeah.
You know?
It also might be confirmation bias in that you probably see that more when he's getting fucked up, and so those are the sets.
So you don't notice it as much?
Yeah, like he probably does it when he's winning, but when he's winning, it's just there aren't things for him. Yeah. There's not things for him to laugh about because he's winning.
He's killing you,
right? Yeah. So
yeah,
I don't know, but it was interesting because there were a lot of moments during that set where he freaked out.
Yeah, the last time I noticed that happening was versus Armada at Smash and Splash.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which is when he lost too, and we all said Armada played really good. HBox seemed a little out of it, a little bit after Armada came out of the gates. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Well, I mean, this basically confirms my theory that HBox has a Fox problem. You know.
Say more.
I mean, I don't know how that's not self-explanatory. I guess I'll explain. If you look at it, in the last year and a half, he's lost to Falcon 3 times, and he's lost to Fox how many times?
That's true.
Like 40 times?
That's true. HBox definitely has a Fox problem.
Does he lose to any other character?
He doesn't lose to any other character.
It's just Fox.
What we should be seeing that we're just not seeing at all right now
is more people
should be
Fox
switching to Fox against him because it's clearly his worst matchup.
I mean, if Wizzy has demonstrated he has the skill to defeat HBox in a matchup that he's strong in.
As Falcon? Can you imagine if Wizzrobe played Fox?
Exactly.
That's a good point.
Yeah. I was talking to Hax yesterday because he was at Omega all weekend and didn't enter in time. so shout outs to you, Hax. We were talking about like Ices and Falcon and the fact that Bananas just like beat all the Falcons, and Hax was like, what you have to understand is that these players picked Falcon on the character select screen, so they're already missing some crucial tech.
Well, did you see what he tweeted when Wizzy won?
What?
He's like, Reddit would have you believe that Wizzrobe beat HBox in 2 sets this weekend. Don't believe everything you read, kids. Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, his theory is that Wizzy... When I did that interview with him, the thing he said is, since Wizzy is an android, it's not actually fair to judge Falcon players based on him.
True.
Because we talk about Falcon at a human level, so...
I think he did say something along the lines of every Falcon player except Wizzy is, like, bad. Something along those lines.
Interesting.
Where Wizzy's choice to play Falcon is still bad, to be clear.
Right, but he's not a bad player.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Falcon players, none won Smash Adelphia.
Who is Kimchi?
I don't know. I should. I'm such a bad... Honestly, doing this Discord has made me less of a stream monster because I spend... This covers a good 2 hours of my requisite... More, because I think about it, on other sites too, but it covers a good portion of my thinking about and watching Melee time that I feel like I don't do it that much. So if you had asked me who's fucking random food named player Bananas a year ago, I would have been able to tell you immediately. Now I don't know anything about these fuckers. I don't know what did he do something? I honestly haven't looked at the bracket.
Okay, well, for some reason
I'm so well prepared, you guys.
I was looking at the Smash Adelphia bracket and there was nothing there, so I won't be
there.
This is what I was just
click on brackets instead of details.
Maybe this one. Look, there's nothing here. There's literally nothing here.
That's cool.
I'm gonna pull up Cobb's response, but we'll keep talking in the meantime. Cobb sent the thing to me over the weekend, so I'm just gonna see what he said. But the reason I asked who Kimchi is because he beat None in winners.
Oh, is that who beat him? I thought Zamu beat him in winners.
No, it was Kimchi.
Oh yeah, in winner, but it was in like winners round 1. Like None played the entire tournament in losers, I think.
I know, he did.
Yeah. Which is really funny.
Yeah, I don't know what to think of that because I don't know who Kimchi is.
Is that gonna work now?
This? Yeah,
that's
the bracket.
Weird. Yeah, but why wasn't the bracket? It was a different event.
I was looking at
You were at
Smash
Smash
Adelphia.
Oh yeah, it's not Smash Adelphia. It's
Sorry.
Smashville. You wrote it wrong in our notes.
Yeah.
We're so prepared, you guys. Great podcasting
There's a lot
material.
to talk about, guys. Didn't we say at the beginning of the podcast everything's made up and the seeds don't matter? We're staying true to that.
We're really staying true to that.
Yeah, the reason I was thinking Smash Adelphia is this weekend.
Yeah. Are you going to that?
No, I'm not going.
Okay. You have to go now. Pay penance.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, but
okay.
Kimchi beat him. And then he took a game off Zamu, so...
Yeah, well, okay, so Zamu is the story of this tournament from the bracket.
Yes.
Because Zamu defeats Kimchi, who defeated None, so by the transitive property...
Defeated None.
Yeah, Zamu defeated None.
He also did win a set against None, didn't he? No, because None was in losers. That's right.
Red beat Rick, which is good. First of all, Rick over Cal, not like super. They're in the same tier of players I would put them, but Red over Rick is cool because Red has been a long time on the comeback. Mm-hmm. I didn't watch it, but I saw Red tweet about his Marth, so I believe Red went Marth. He went Marth against Darktooth at Smash and Splash.
That's cool.
So he might be in for the Marth Fox matchup.
That's cool.
And then he lost 1-3 to Zamu. So I'm glad to see Red
And then
then
Zamu beat Dreffin.
Then Zamu 3-0'd Dreffin.
Yeah.
Who 3-1'd Iori, who 3-1'd Kells,
yeah.
who 2-1'd Abate. So
Kells is Iori is one of the... You guys probably... If you're listening to our podcast, you're probably the sort of person who knows who Iori is. But if you don't, Iori's like the craziest hidden boss.
he is like the quintessential hidden boss. Because he plays like 6 characters, and he just like shows up every once in a while, and then... The first time I heard of him was him taking Hugo to Game 5 at like a random tournament.
Yeah, and he beat over Triforce with Donkey Kong.
Yeah. Stuff like that. Oh, that's what I should have done, man.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk. Can we talk about why Abate is seated so low?
Was he seated low?
I'm just confused about... Oh, maybe he lost in pools or something, you think? Did he get the second seed? Who is... Oh, Dave Mon? That sounds familiar.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Okay, so he took a 2 seed. Because Dave Mon beat everyone in his pool. Interesting. Okay, that makes sense.
Some of the seeds make sense.
Some of the seeds, yeah. But, yeah. In any case, this bracket was all over the place.
Yeah, and then Zamu beat Michael.
Yeah.
He only lost to None. He got a double reset.
3-2, 3-0. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, good stuff, Zamu. I was really hoping to play him at Smash and Splash, but he lost to Travioli.
Yeah, well, he's been super on the come-up recently.
Whatever.
He has. What was that big upset he had, like, a month ago?
Ginger.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That was cool.
And also, let's shout out... I mean, there's so many random stuff going on here. Shabo beat to Shizwiz 3-2.
Yeah, he inspired a tweet from Shiz about how Shiz is going to learn all the advanced tech like shield dropping and then be good.
I have no comment to that. And then he took Michael to Game 5.
Yep.
So that's cool. Cobb beat to Shizwiz. Not exceptionally surprising. Cobb over Kells. That's cool.
That's cool. Again, Cobb's also having a little bit of a breakout moment recently.
That's cool that Zamu and Cobb are teammates.
Yeah.
And that they're both on the come up making these upsets. I like seeing stuff like that.
Abate fell prey to the None train in losers, which is sort of sad to see, because it would have been cool to see Abate make a losers run, but
None kind of
just killed everyone.
Deleted Michael from what I saw.
Yeah, I mean,
it was over really fast.
Honestly, not that much exciting except for Zamu and Cobb's run, and then None losing to Kimchi.
Watch the thing.
Oh yeah, my bad.
Sorry guys, we're not filming outdoors anymore. So.
I got a week off from nudging the table accidentally.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna look up who Kimchi plays real quick. I'm just gonna look up Kimchi Fox because I'm guessing he plays Fox. Pikachu.
That's right.
What?
I remember seeing None tweet about
that. This is that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen him before. I know who he is. Wait.
He plays the worst Pikachu color.
Is None just
plays green Pikachu?
Really bad against Pikachu?
Yeah, he tweeted about needing to learn the Pikachu matchup after.
Let's go Kimchi. That's hype.
Which
makes
sense.
That is hype.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's more hype than if he were like a random fox.
Yep.
Green Pikachu is sickly.
It's horrible.
But has the best hat.
So
I play Green Pikachu.
It's sickly and has the worst hat.
I feel like we've had this exact argument.
We
on this
definitely
podcast
have
before.
not. I know we haven't had this argument
Really?
before. What, you think Fedorachu is the best hat?
Yeah.
What's fucking wrong with you? You have the cool party hat and the trainer hat, and you would think the fedora is the best?
Hell yeah.
Okay, wait. What's the best Pichu color?
I alternate between goggles and ribbon.
Even that's upsetting that you don't just say goggles straight up. Like, that's really annoying. And
I use goggles 80%, and sometimes I use ribbon.
right, when the player 2 hacks aren't on, you switch to ribbon.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
The Pichu
Pichu who installed the
of course I
blue
remember.
blue Pichu player 2 hacks.
Player 4.
Oh, was it player 4?
Yeah.
That guy was what a legend.
I know.
That's
why Arduinos aren't legal.
That's why.
Otherwise,
that guy, it was a plan all along. Those government agents, they were telling him to destroy hacks.
Yeah. Seriously.
How
old is Zamu? We talked about this before too, right? I'm pretty sure we did. I think he looks really young, but he's in college or something.
Did we? Like, he's having a good time. Yeah, seems like Kimchi kept it close too.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
But it was 3-1, I believe. Yeah, 3-1.
Cool. That's
Yeah,
Smashville.
cool.
Nothing super duper exciting.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Omega.
I think Omega was a little
We've been alluding to it the whole time.
a little more interesting.
But you guys got seeded fourth
Fourth in teams.
Yeah. So let's talk about the team seeding. So first seed
Slox and Swedish.
was Slox and Swedish, which is semi reasonable.
They haven't teamed in a year.
They have not teamed in a year, but when they have teamed, they've
done well.
Really, really big upsets. They beat Hungrybox and Axe notably.
Yeah.
Like twice. Yeah, so they're
both good at teams.
They're both good at teams. So semi reasonable. They ended up just DQing.
Yeah. Slox was like an hour late.
Yeah, and then
He actually walked in like moments after getting DQ'd.
And then was second.
Second seed was Darktooth and Kaon because they won Pound.
And then third was IBDW 2 Saint.
Third was Over Triforce and Triff.
Okay.
Because they're from Europe.
So we can't judge their skill.
Exactly.
Properly.
So we just guessed and put them at 3. 4 was me and Laud.
5 was
IBDW and 2 Saint. 6 was who plays 6? Third seed? 6 was G Money and DJ Nintendo, who got DQ'd.
They were above the other 2 MDVA teams.
And then 7th seed was Zain and Milkman.
And 8th was Absent Page and June.
8th seed was Absent Page and Junebug. Welcome to Analog, guys. Where everything's made up and the seeds don't matter.
You know, I feel bad because I really like Subtle as a person.
Yeah, same.
But he really was not having any of your complaints about seeding.
He dug himself quite a hole there.
He said, just win.
I want to pull up my tweet.
You could just win. Cause you tweeted about it, as you do.
I don't usually the day of the tournament. So here's the other gripe that I had is typically when it comes to the actual event, like my priority is just to compete and do the best I can. But especially for regionals, like around this size, I'm usually that guy who's pestering TOs to kind of like be on top of things. So I talked to him throughout the week, and I was like, Thursday afternoon, I messaged him, and I was like, yo, the team's bracket's not up. Like, can you put it up? And he said, sure, I'll do it. Like, I've been busy with work, which is fine, whatever. But then Thursday night, it still wasn't up. And I've been told it was up on Friday, but, you know, I'd been checking all week, and I got tired of checking all the time. Plus, I was busy on Friday because everyone came back into town that day.
Yeah.
And then Saturday morning's the first that I and many people saw the seating for the tournament.
Yeah, it's sort of a shitty situation in general. It's definitely hard as a TO to change seating the day of, but I don't know. It's definitely it's definitely not seeding you guys first seed could have nominally made sense, but it still would have shown some bias. Putting you fourth under all those teams is pretty
blatant,
pretty bad.
I mean, I said, have you seen any recent teams results besides Pound? The response was yes. And my response was, so me and Laud getting top 5 at Smash and Splash, Flatiron, Gommel, and Full Bloom wasn't enough. And at this point...
Oh, did he delete it?
There's no response.
Yeah, no, he didn't say anything in response. Oh no, it was up. Oh, it was up there.
You could win was up there.
Yeah. So
I mean, I feel bad for kind of blowing him up on Twitter, but also it was the day of the event. you know?
Yeah, I don't know.
And I stopped tweeting about it once we got to the venue because I'm like, now I'm just going to focus on bracket and compete, given the circumstances with which I've been presented, because that's all you can do at that point. But it was dumb. And what was dumber to me is that they were attempting to justify it.
To be clear, Laud and Rishi won the tournament. I don't think we said that straight up yet. They ended up winning the tournament, like, pretty easily, too, right?
Yeah, we dropped one game.
Yeah.
And even though, like, first seeds were DQ'd, like, we played the 2nd seed, 8th seed, 5th seed, who else? 3rd seed got 9th. Over Triforce and Triff lost to Nerd and Wild, and 47 and 42nd. Or no. Yeah, right? Where did that happen?
No.
Oh, IBDW and Toussaint beat Over Triforce and Triff.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a way that we can talk about this in more than just what you said on Twitter.
Yeah.
It is interesting, the challenge of seeding European teams, because even if, like, it didn't make sense to seed them 3rd for sure.
Yeah.
But
I saw someone arguing on Twitter that they should be seeded 3rd because their first point was that Triff was better than me and Laud, and the second point was that Peach Chic is a better comp than Peach Marth.
Ooh, that's a fun...
Yeah, after the tournament was over, I responded and I said, yo, you were being mad dumb here. And that was it.
But it is interesting because I don't think anyone would have seeded them 9th, right? Like, I think if I were going and seeding them, I would probably seed them...
Probably around Zain and Milkman.
Probably around Zain and Milkman, yeah. Around Zain and Milkman, or even around June and Absent Page.
Yeah.
Yeah, so around 5th or 6th seed.
Yeah.
And Toussaint and
IBDW.
I feel like those are all... I would put them above all of those people nominally, so probably around 5th seed.
Yeah.
So it's hard seeding people from Europe is the lesson we take away from this, especially in teams. Yeah. And especially when they're coming to PAL, because then... That
didn't matter. They're both so good on PAL.
I mean, coming to NTSC.
I mean, they're both so good on NTSC.
Over drops a lot of sets on NTSC.
Dude, let me tell you, Over is really good on NTSC.
Is he? Okay.
The past week, he got so many reaction tech chases to death.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, like...
Maybe it's more in other matchups, because I've definitely seen him beat people really, really hard in PAL and floaty matchups. Especially the Sheik Ditto, and then lose horribly in the US.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't really watched him that much except for what I saw in the past week, and it looked like he was born and raised in NTSC.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
His punish game is mad good.
Yeah. That's always been one of the things about him.
Yeah. We actually kind of talked about this over the weekend. Like, if you live in Europe and you're motivated enough to be a top player, a lot of what you do is going to be practicing solo. Because you have less access to top players.
Yes, that's
Everyone's
true.
More spread out.
That's how Leffen and Armada got good.
And that's why their punish games are the best in the world.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it makes sense. And that's what we saw from Triff and Over, at least in singles.
We've still never seen a European player just move to the US. And I am waiting for it to happen.
I mean, Armada has addressed it. He's not interested in moving to the US.
I know.
I haven't really heard Leffen talk about it. Do you know anything about that?
I don't think he's that interested either. He loves Sweden's, like, government and stuff.
Yeah, that's what Armada says too.
And hates
American politics, which is
reasonable.
Yeah, especially
Ice was the one who was thinking about it the most.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Ice was thinking of moving to SoCal for a while, and then his results dipped, and he lost a sponsor. But he was also potentially doing it to get a sponsor.
Yeah, now he's a Red Bull athlete.
Now he's a Red Bull athlete, so that's cool. It would be cool to see Ice move.
Yeah.
Especially because in terms of national competition, he's one of the people who outstrips everyone in his region very, very easily. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Armada and Leffen do too, but there are still a lot of players from Europe who could compete with top 50 US players very easily. From Sweden. There's Android, there's Kali W, there's a bunch of people.
Yeah.
The second best player in Germany is Slim Shady, right? Is that right?
I have no idea.
I think that's right.
I like Ice a lot. He came up to Lot at Gommel and started asking Lot about his guide to improvement.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't read Lot's Guide to Improvement, check it out. It's not that hard to find. I think it's like pinned on his Twitter. And they were like getting into the nitty gritty of like LOD's theory crafting.
That's cool.
Yeah. Like Ice is always about that, about getting better and improving and tournament mindset and everything.
And SpongeBob.
It's SpongeBob.
I've said this on the podcast before. Ice is the biggest SpongeBob fan in the world. Like, actually. Yeah.
Hilarious.
Oh, no. That's not true. Sorry. The second best player in... I said Slim Shady. That's not true. It's Reaper.
Oh, yeah.
Slim Shady just shows up more. He's like 7th, so that was horribly uninformed. I'm sorry, guys. But he's definitely one of the more prominent ones.
Yeah.
From Germany. There's just not that many good German players. Reaper is the second best, and then there's a lot of honorable mentions like Six, the Link, and Dart. The Marth lives there now, so.
Wait. Dart lives there now?
Yeah.
Like Dart?
Like Dart.
Since when?
Yeah. For like a year or two.
Oh, that's where he's been.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Wow, Slim Shady has never been anywhere close to second.
Wow.
Sorry, guys.
Everything's made up here, guys.
Yeah.
Staying true.
I don't know. I just know him because he probably gets more. I'm sure everyone in Germany is so annoyed that everyone knows who Slim Shady is because he plays fucking Mario.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I'm so much better than this goddamn Mario player, but he's the one who gets all the attention.
Right. Yeah. I think we'll take a quick break and then get into the bracket.
At Omega?
Yeah.
That sounds good to me.
Cool.
So we'll see you guys. Hopefully the heat's not murdering you like us.
Yeah. Hey guys, this week on the Shoutout Corner, we're going to be shouting out a YouTube channel called Turn Down for Walt.
Yeah, so Walt's been one of my favorite editors for a really long time. I think he's honestly like the best combo video maker in the scene. His Zoo video, you guys know I'm a huge Zoo fan, is what turned me on to him in the first place. But he also just started a new series called Frame Data, where he goes into like micro interactions in games. And Walt is the perfect editor to do this because he has such a clean sense of how to highlight data and display it really effectively. You saw like the stuff he does in terms of showing the differences between different options is so well done.
Yeah, he doesn't bog you down with unnecessary information or unnecessary graphics. Like everything is perfectly placed just to explain the situation and what's going on and what you need to know.
Yeah, and I'm really happy that Walt's taken his clean editing style and trying to make something like constructive. Not that combo videos aren't, but you know, something for the community. So I just wanted to shout him out. Been meaning to for a while, and this is the perfect opportunity. So yeah, go check out Turn Down for Walt, and yeah, thanks guys.
Hey guys, welcome back to Analog.
You had me in suspense there. I wasn't sure what we were welcoming them back to.
Well, now you know.
All right, let's get into the bracket for Omega 2. We talked about doubles, which... whatever. We talked about doubles. Let's get into singles.
We did.
Let's talk about singles a little bit.
Yeah, so Zain won.
Yeah, which is actually the least interesting thing to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, he was first seed, like, it was expected. But everything else was pretty much kind of tossed around in random directions.
The only two things I want to say with Zain in this sense are two matchups people have been talking about a lot for Zain recently are Sheik and Peach. Sheik because he's had close sets with some Sheik players. He lost to June, like 2 months ago.
Yes.
And then
Twice.
And then he had that really close set with Dewan at Gommel.
Yep.
And so people were thinking about it. And Zain has proven that he's still really good at this matchup. Swedish got destroyed.
But he had an extremely close set with Overtriforce.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
So Overtriforce was actually seated 9th, just below Junebug, and ended up beating June in the Ditto, luckily for Zain.
Okay, so I'm actually, everything I said earlier is super inaccurate. I know nothing about Overtriforce, but I have seen him get beaten in the Ditto before.
Yeah, so I was not super surprised to see Overtriforce beating June because Zain and I had both played him in a couple friendlies, and both of our impression of over Triforce was just how good his punish game was.
Right.
And that makes a pretty big difference in the Sheik Ditto, especially when chain grabs are off, which is what I believe they both wanted to do.
Yeah, and I don't know, would you say punish game is June's strong suit? I don't really feel like it is. No, he's a neutral game master.
He has, like, if you're looking for bang for your buck in terms of neutral game versus like ranking or something, like June is the obvious buy.
Yeah, and that's because he's been the best player in the world at
PM.
Yeah, at PM.
And he's been a top brawl player. He beat
that's true.
He beat Mewtwo King with Lucario.
Yeah, so
which means you have to be winning neutral.
Right, that's true. Yeah, so he's obviously got a ton of neutral, and I think that he's one of those players where you can confidently say that his punish game is the thing that needs more work than his neutral.
And honestly, that's a big part of that is that he just doesn't practice by himself. He doesn't do solo practice. Like I was showing all three of them, June, Zain, and La. They all stayed with me this weekend. But I was showing them Uncle Punch's training mode mod, and they were all like, I need this. And I'm like, I know. All three of you should be doing more solo practice. Like, Zayn needs it the least, but that's because whenever he goes to travel and play, he plays for several hours at a time. Whereas the other two are like, they get distracted easily.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something June could work on. So I wasn't like extremely surprised to see June lose to Over Triforce, but Zayn fully acknowledged that June was about to be his hardest matchup of the weekend, and he luckily didn't have to play him at all.
Yeah, but then Over Triforce gave him a run for his money, and I think we can confidently say now, like, Zayn's he's pretty good at the Sheik matchup. It's not like he has an issue with it. It's not
really doesn't seem like he has a bad matchup now.
No. Like, same with Marth. I mean, sort of same with Marth, and then also with Peach, it's like, everyone's like, oh, Laud beats Zayn, and that's partially just because they play all the time. But then Zayn fucking worked, Triff.
Yeah, so Laud's record is pretty dominant on Zayn, but the last 6 months they've played, I want to say like around 4 times. I think Zayn won them all.
Yeah.
So recent history, it kind of lines up with Zayn's like improvement, you know.
Yeah.
And he did work Triff. So. So I was actually originally seeded. What was I seeded? I was seeded 5th at this tournament initially, which means I was seeded to play Triff. And apparently Triff saw that. I was hearing this from JKJ, who was housing Triff for the week. And Triff was like, "Why am I seeded to beat Rishi?" Because we played friendlies one time, and I'm good at that matchup.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense.
Wonder why?
Right? Yeah. But then they switched me and Absent Page. They gave Absent Page the 5 seed and gave me the 6 seed. But I don't think Triff saw that. So he played with Zayn for like 4 hours on Saturday.
That's really funny.
And then the next day, I think he realized that he was going to have to play Zayn instead of me. And then he wanted to play with me.
That's really funny.
So,
that's great.
I did really want to fight Triff in tournament, obviously.
Because you want to establish your rep as a Peach Slayer.
I know. I mean, he would tell you himself. But I just wanted to like play him in tournament just for the sake of playing him in tournament. Because I never fight Peaches in tournament. I never fight them. All the top Peaches dodge me in tournament, except Armada one time. And he barely beat me. You know?
That was a crazy set.
Yeah.
That was a crazy set,
Let's not
dude.
talk about that.
Oh my god.
So the only time I got to play Triff not in friendlies this weekend was in Cruise, actually.
Oh yeah.
So Cruise was like kind of interesting. He was on like a crew of it was a motley crew. Like it was like Cool Lime, Big Daddy Ganon, Traphasia, NY Joey. It was like the most bizarre crew I've ever seen.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So they send Triff in. He goes out with 3 stocks. I go in. I counterpick him. We go to FD. I don't lose a stock.
Yeah.
To kill him. But then I'm just going on a tangent now. Then they send Cool Lime in against me. And you can see in the player cam, Milkman comes over and says something to me, and I'm like laughing. I'm like, okay, sure. And you actually can't see it, but I like hit Cool Lime off stage, and he just SDs at the beginning, and then the camera goes to the game, and it's like, why is Cool Lime at 3 stocks and Rishi's at 4? And at that point, I just stand on one side of the stage, and then I start playing with one hand. So I play the rest of that game with one hand, because what Milkman told me, he was like, okay, you throw this game, and then June throws the next game, and if Cool Lime's at one stock, Lod will go Yoshi. Because we had all three of us
were
were
the
left.
last player.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
So, but alas, I was only able to take one more stock with my one-handed Marth because I can't mash out of wobble with one hand. Because I use my pinky on the control stick. So I couldn't rotate it fast enough to mash out.
So dumb.
And so many people didn't realize I was playing with one hand until I started like making really obvious gestures with my other hand while I was playing.
That's so funny. Wow.
Check out the VODs if you're interested in that. That was just a funny story from Cruise on day one.
Jeez.
What were we talking about? We're talking about Triff.
So walk me through Triff and Lod's differences in playstyles.
Oh, it's like night and day.
I agree, but I think Peach is one of the characters that people don't emphasize the differences
and how they
super
can play
specifically. Yeah.
So Triff definitely maximizes Peach's strengths more so than Lod. The way I described it, like, it's as if you took a player who read the guide I wrote on Peach like a couple months ago, but they like wrote it themselves 10 years ago and have been playing Peach for 10 years.
That's really funny.
Like,
that's a good way to put it.
That's what Triff's Peach is like. It's like what I would want my Peach to be like if I mained Peach. Like, he knows how to use Peach's strengths for mix-ups. He knows how to control center using float. He knows how to call out your movement. Like, all the things that, in my view, are like key Peach skills.
I think one thing that a sense that you get when you see Triff play is, so people like to stereotype Triff as aggressive, but
he's not aggressive.
He's not aggressive.
No.
He's just really threatening.
Yeah, he does what Peach is supposed to do, which is like you're controlling stage in the best way possible to play mix-ups.
He's always encroaching on your space in the corner, but it's encroaching. It's not running in and shit.
And sometimes he will back all the way up. Like, I saw him play Darktooth a couple days before Omega, because they played both at the weekly and the regional. He was like floating in center. Yeah, we'll talk about that. He was like floating in center, just like mid-height regular float. And then Darktooth's about to come in. He floats all the way back, lands on the opposite side of the stage, and lands a down smash.
That's hilarious.
Like, how did that happen?
That's really funny.
So the thing I would describe Lod that differentiates them together is the amount of pressure that Lod exerts on the ground is like 10 times as much as Triff. Like, his neutral game, I think Lod's neutral game is better, and he's way more threatening on the ground, which is really scary as Marth. Like, a lot of what Triff does is like using Peach's strengths, but when you lose to Lod, it just feels like he's outplaying you. That's like the best way I can describe it, because like when I played Triff, like between stocks, he'll like do a full hop, he'll do a long double jump, he'll use his toad, and then he'll float away, and then he will play a mix up on the way down, and he has a turnip at this point. So he's like, I'm either going to throw a turnip, or I'm going to come down with a back air or a forward air, or I'm going to air dodge.
One of my favorite matches of Melee I've ever played was at Genesis 4, I think. It was like really late at the venue, like 4 a.m. or something, and me and my friend were both pretty drunk. I was playing with Patrick Malone. Shoutouts to Patrick Malone for those of you who know who that is. And he was playing Peach and I was playing Fox. And for some reason, this was like we had put a lot of stake on this match.
Yeah.
And we were literally both it was on FD. He doesn't do the chain grab because he doesn't play Peach. He's a Fox main.
Yeah.
And we were just standing in front of each other, pivoting back and forth in front of each other.
And not as one does.
And not doing anything. It was like last stock. And then Clayton, cool kid, came over and he said, "No, Patrick, what are you doing? You need to not interact whatsoever. Peach can spend the entire game not interacting."
Yep.
And Patrick immediately double jumped all the way out and just floated. And then he started floating in. I was like, oh shit. I ran all the way to the other side of the stage. I got so scared because I was so drunk and I had just been pivoting. And then I realized that if he hit me once, I was going to die.
That's what Peach does, man. Because like, it's float canceled from the air. She's got a projectile. She's got a lot of threatening ways to come down.
Yeah.
At the same time, she's bad at it.
Yes,
you know?
she is also bad at it. Such an interesting character.
Really, yeah, she's one of the most unique characters.
I miss McCain's Peach so much. Can I just say that? Yeah. I miss McCain's Peach so much.
Yeah.
For all of the dumb shit about McCain's down smashes, McCain was so decisive with what he did.
Definitely.
His edge guards, he got some of the craziest fucking edge guard sequences I've ever seen in my life because he just knows what he wants to do and he executes in those situations when he's not tilted so well.
So like 40% of the time.
Yes, exactly. 40% of the time, but 90% of the first stocks.
Okay, all right.
And
sure,
90%,
like yeah,
90% of the game time because once he tilts, the game is over.
Yeah,
it's so. I miss McCain's Peach.
Speaking of peaches, let's talk about LOD briefly.
Yeah,
I was hoping for this to be like a really sick weekend for Peach fans.
With LOD and Triff.
With LOD and Triff, but LOD played pretty awful this weekend in my view, and obviously I have some slight bias, but like I don't know, like his heart didn't seem in it for some reason. Like he is always listening to music when he plays, and he had his headphones like in my bag, and all of a sudden I see that he's playing Cody just like I don't know, with like a blank expression on his face. He often has a blank expression when he's playing.
Yes.
But it looked, I don't know. To me, it looked different. Like him not wearing his headphones and playing and, you know, getting cheered against. And I was just like confused as to why he didn't like come find me to get his headphones and, you know, do what he always does when he's competing.
Huh.
It was just kind of weird. And after the set, I was like, here are your headphones. Like, you should have asked me for them. He's like, yeah, I should have. And that was it. And then he lost to Junebug in Losers after beating Junebug, I think now 9 straight sets in a row. Junebug almost forfeited to LOD at this tournament.
Because he just was like...
Because he loses every time, at least
funny.
in the last few months. Like, last time they played at a Xanadu, they just did a secondary set because June was going to forfeit regardless. He was like, we'll do a secondary set for the fans, but it's too exhausting for me to go through those sets over and over again. And June said the same thing, that LOD didn't seem to be playing like himself. And June also was playing better than usual. The way he described it is that to play well enough to beat LOD, he just had to, he said, not care. But there's like a whole lot of psychology in there, right? Where it leads you to, you know, free open your decision making and whatever you want to call it.
Hey, small sidetrack. Who's Litstar?
RK.
Okay.
Yeah. That Fox that beat Wizzy that one time.
I saw him in the bracket because he beat Big Kid and he beat, who'd he beat in pools?
He did beat someone. Let's see.
He beat someone like pretty significant. Vortex maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all right. Vortex was not trying this weekend.
Okay.
He was playing whoever he wanted. Okay. And he was doing whatever he wanted.
Okay.
He was not sober.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes more sense. Ben is frequently not sober.
Yeah.
That's funny though that he would do it at Omega. I mean, I guess it's not everyone's there.
Yeah.
But okay, that makes sense.
But yeah, this kind of comes back to something I had been saying over the course of the weekend that a lot of people have said over the last year is that the quality of gameplay reflects on like the tournament conditions and how well the tournament's being run, and like it was too hot in the venue. That was the big thing. It was run pretty well, scheduling was fine, but it was actually like oppressively hot the whole time, and some people suffered for that.
See, I have a counter theory. I've said this before, that the worse the tournament, the better the matches, which doesn't necessarily mean the better the gameplay.
Okay.
But the more exciting the tournament is.
That doesn't necessarily go against what I said.
No, it's not at all. But I think that bad tournaments almost always have the best
They can.
stories.
But like Summit, everyone plays well. You know, for the most part.
Yeah, and some summits are really boring. The last summit wasn't. That's true. But
I'm just thinking about the last
summit before that was hella boring.
Yeah.
That summit...
I buy into it.
Was really boring.
I can buy into it.
I think this also... Shorter tournaments, one-day tournaments are always the best in terms of storylines because people fuck up so bad.
This could have been a one-day event.
Yeah, you were saying that. I was really surprised it wasn't.
Yeah.
Given how early everything was like...
Yeah,
I don't know.
They did the same thing last year, and Swedish said the same thing then as well. I didn't go last year, but I remember him telling me about it. But I mean, they wanted people to chill and just hang out all weekend, and they did crews and exhibitions, whatever. Like, it's fine. It wasn't a huge deal, but yeah, that was just my comment. Like, it was actually way too hot. Apparently, like the AC was on and whatever. I don't know.
Okay, but let's talk.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Rishi's losers run. Because
Okay, yeah.
after losing to Toussaint,
Yeah.
you beat Calvar, you beat Nut.
Okay, so so first of all, I dropped a game. I dropped game 1 to Swiftface.
To Swiftface, I saw that.
And then I like turned my murder face on and won that set.
Yeah.
Uh,
You beat You lost to Toussaint.
beat me.
Yes.
And
Who'd you go?
Marth.
Whole time.
Yes. And I realized right after that, I was like, all right, I got to play Calvar. Like, I can't sleep on him. And I was planning on going Marth. And then he was like, let me get a hand warmer. And I was like, all right, I'll warm up my Fox, just because. In the hand warmer. Mm-hmm. And while I was playing Fox in the hand warmer, I felt my energy just like spike up. And I was like, maybe I should listen to my body here and say, like, maybe Marth is not the move for when I'm feeling this way physically. And
yeah.
maybe I need something to kind of carry my momentum forward rather than me having to, like, buckle down and, Marth it out. Especially after just having played a slow set against a Puff.
Okay.
And I was like, this might be something I have to consider for this tournament, given the conditions. So I play Fox. And I lose game 1. I run it back to Battlefield. I beat him pretty bad. Beat him pretty bad on Yoshi's. And he takes me to FD. He actually insta-locks FD. I'm like, I dual main, right? So I LRA start, and I 4-stock him in the Marth Ditto.
Yikes.
He raged pretty hard.
Yeah.
We both used the audio setup, like the wires and everything. His audio setup kind of killed his rage because he couldn't yank it out of the TV properly. And then while trying to carefully unplug the wire setup, he dropped his controller. So it was kind of like an awkward, like
oof.
Yeah. It was rough.
Why did you go all Marth against Toussaint? Curious, because you've talked about this in the past on the podcast and how you specifically at locals and stuff go Fox against him so you feel comfortable in pulling it out in tournament.
Not against Toussaint. I always play Marth against Puff.
Oh, what?
Yeah. The last 2 times Toussaint and I played, I beat him with Marth.
Yeah, I know.
I went Fox 1 game.
Oh, okay.
In one of those sets.
I'm doing bad on info today. You should not have said though where where nothing matters.
Yeah.
Or where everything's made up, because it really has set the tone.
I believe in my own Fox versus Puff. Like, I know I'm good at the matchup. I've played HBox in the matchup. He thinks I'm good at it too.
Yeah.
For whatever that's worth. But I've talked so much shit about Marth Puff that I feel obligated to play the matchup. Right. So
the heat is getting to me, man. No, I totally. As soon as you said that, I'm like, wait, no, Rishi, Rishi, Smash God, Nut Play. I'm fucking dumb. Anyways, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Then speaking of dropping game 1,
you dropped game 1 to Nut.
Game 1 to Nut,
who had a pretty good tournament.
That guy's pretty good.
He beat Animal and he beat Joey's. NY Joey came back to his first tournament in like a year, but
yeah, whatever.
Still.
But I mean, I'd heard about Nut and I'd seen him play.
He's been on the PR. He was on the PR a long time ago.
Oh, really?
Like 3 years ago or something.
Well, I mean, having played him firsthand, like, I can tell you he's legit. I mean, he was doing like power shield down smashes on reaction and
on what moves?
On just like aerials coming down.
Nut is a Samus, by the way.
Yeah, he's a Samus player. He beat me game 1 on FD, and I had to buckle down again, and I ended up just like outplaying him in neutral.
And then, did you lose game 1 to
Absent
Page?
I did lose game 1 to Absent Page. I want to first, before we go to that, my favorite moment of the Nut set, having played grounded footsies for like 20 straight minutes, I felt so confident in my grounded footsies that on game 4, I was just like moving around him and just like wave dashing in, dashing forward, doing walking forward, and I back up and I'm like, you've been conditioned, and he runs forward and I tipper him at 100. It felt so good. You can see me in the player cam. I'm like, yeah, I got it. That was just like a good moment for me because I've been working on my grounded footsies.
That's cool.
Yeah, I dropped game 1 to Absent Page. It was close actually. It was last stock. I just destroyed him the next 3 games.
Yeah, then you murdered him.
Yeah.
I did go and watch that in preparation. That's the only, like, pretty much the only step in this tournament.
The 2 big things that I was really happy with this tournament was, one, I was happy that my recent, over the past couple of months, couple months, practice in Marth versus Fox has really paid off. Like, I've been refocusing a lot of stuff, and every time I play it, I get a little bit better. And I remember, like, especially the 2 weeks before Smash and Splash, I was actively working on a few things, like how to use certain aerials, where to place them, and I was doing it really consciously. And the week after Smash and Splash, I was playing Kalindi on NetPlay, and I was like, wow, this is now coming to me as if it's second nature. Like, I've developed...
Oh, that's cool.
I developed this muscle memory, and now I can use those tools that I've honed and, like, apply them with my brain.
Yeah.
And I felt like that, like, totally showed through my set with Absent Page. Absent Page and I, before this set, was 2-1 in my favor, but I didn't, like, feel so confident in those victories over him.
Well, and he's also leveled up significantly recently, so...
And, like... I was like, we both were playing whatever in those other 3 sets, but this time I was like, I feel really confident in how I outplayed him this time. The other thing I was really happy with played through in the next set. So I'm not afraid to say that I'm really strong in Marth versus Sheik. But I was telling you about like the narrative I was developing for myself with this tournament, where I was like, I can't do slow Marth sets this tournament. So I decided to play Fox against Over Triforce. I take game 1. I get tech chased for 10 minutes the next 2 games.
And then...
I switch to Marth. I take the game. And then I had the lead. And I got a little tilted at people cheering against me from the region, which has now happened for 2 tournaments in a row, which means that I need to work on it. But... My mid-set switch between Marth and Fox was so clean against both Calvar and Over Triforce, and I was so happy with that, because that's the other big thing I've been working on, is the ability to cleanly switch between Fox and Marth mid-set, because historically it hasn't worked out very well for me and many others who try to dual main without having practiced the switch.
So this is actually something, this goes to something I wanted to bring up, which I am so curious to figure out why and when Absent Page switches. Because
he won't tell you.
No, I know he won't tell me.
Yeah.
I just mean by watching his gameplay.
Yeah.
Because there seems to be very little, like, concrete reason for it.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Because a lot of the players that we've seen force those switches, like M2K, have really concrete set reasons.
Stage, FD, Marth.
Yeah, exactly.
Puff, Fox.
Dreamland, Sheik.
Like...
all these sort of things.
FD Stadium, Fox.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm very interested to see a player like Absent Page who seems to just do it when it feels like it.
So I was in the car with him and IBDW after Scarlet Classic a couple months ago. A few months ago, I guess. And Cody asked Absent Page, he's like, hey, so like I see in your Twitter bio you say you're a Fox Sheik Marth tri-main. Like, when do you use Marth?
Yeah, you brought this up.
Yeah, and he said, I can't tell you that. So we finally saw the Marth against Triff. He went Marth game 1. I actually didn't watch the set. I'm going to, because I'm really curious to see what his Marth looks like.
But that's so interesting, too, because, again, that does not mean anything in terms of character matchup, because in the past, when Absent Page had a big Peach win against Laud, he went Fox, got fucked up, and then went Sheik to win the rest of the set.
Did he go Fox first? I thought he went Sheik the whole set.
Did he just go Sheik? Oh, no, you're right. He had switched on to Sheik.
His Fox got destroyed by Laud in previous sets.
That's right. He had switched onto Sheik in a previous set against Rick or someone.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. And he was just stuck on it.
So what I heard was that Absent Page barely lost the Marth game against Triff and then switched to Sheik for the rest of the set. I saw some of this Sheik, and people described his Marth to me as being the same as his other characters, which is him like either dash dancing somewhere or standing on the top platform. They told me he was a top platform Marth, which I didn't really understand.
That's not a thing.
I'm really curious. That's why I really want to watch the game and see what actually happened.
I guess against Peach that can sort of make sense.
I mean, it sort of.
It's the character who it would maybe make the most sense against, other than Ice Climbers, right?
I guess, yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be my approach to Marth versus Peach.
I wonder what stage they went to.
Yeah, I wonder what stage too. I mean, if you're on the top platform, it better be like Battlefield.
That's what I was thinking.
Or even Dreamland.
Or Dreamland. Yeah, Battlefield or Dreamland.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Yeah, so that was funny. 9th place at this tournament was Laud, Toussaint, Slox, and Absent Page.
Yeah, who a lot of them are people who I think would expect to do better than that.
I mean, Laud and Absent Page for sure.
Laud
Laud was the 2nd seed at this tournament.
Even Slox, like,
I wasn't super
Tony's
surprised.
Tony's had a very up and down past few months.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's interesting. It was not... What I'm trying to say is there's a category of players in this tournament who are all solid 9th placers who you might have expected a 9th place from.
Yeah.
Like June or like Darktooth.
So I want to talk about Darktooth. Darktooth was really, really upset after his loss to Triff.
Really?
Understandably, because on game 3 he had a 3-1 lead.
Oh.
And he dropped it and then lost the last game.
Interesting.
He was really upset. But like, I appreciate him so much as a player because he's really motivated. Like, he's really passionate. He's
also so nice.
He's super nice. Yeah. He like his former roommate, I think, mained Peach, so he uses the AJ tag for his friend when he plays against Peach.
That's right. And he had just had a good Peach win. No. He was just talking about...
He went close against Triff.
He was just talking about going close against Triff and shouting out AJ. Because he was actually... Even though he lost against Triff, he was really proud of how he played against Triff.
He was proud of how he played against Triff, Armada, and Laud, all within a month of each other.
Yeah. So that was cool.
Those are 3 best Peaches.
Yeah.
So you can't be too upset about that.
God, what a good mindset he has.
I know, yeah.
He's
awesome.
Such a good guy.
So he was getting frustrated with himself for like having gotten nervous during the thing. So I like gave him like the Rishi rant on how to get past nerves, in my view. Hopefully it was helpful. I'm gonna follow up with him at some point and talk about that kind of stuff, because obviously in the middle of a bracket there's only so much you can say. But he beat Nerd 3-0. He beat Saint apparently for the first time ever, which I didn't know.
That's cool.
I kind of assumed they went back and forth.
Rishi says beat Nerd 3-0 as if it's nothing. Nerd is the king of like making weird little upsets in the like 13th places of tournaments.
Yeah.
Case in point, he beat Milkman. He beat Milkman this tournament.
Yeah.
He also beat JKJ, which JKJ's been doing really well in Long Island recently, so that's actually a pretty big thing. But Nerd, like, every Nebs, go look at Nerd and, well, rest in peace, Nebs. But go look at the old Nebs brackets, and Nerd would very frequently be making these little upsets.
First time I played him was while I was on my Fox grind, so we went 2-2 with Fox. I took him to FD with Marth, and all of Long Island was, like, yelling against me, of course, so I ledge camped him. No. It was nothing against Nerd. It was just like,
that's funny.
I was just trying to make a statement to the crowd.
Right, but yeah, so Darktooth beat Nerd, he beat Saint, and then he ended up losing to June. And then June lost to Triff.
Okay, June lost to Triff and June. Did you watch this set?
No, I told you. Literally the only set I've seen from this is you versus Absent Page.
Triff versus June was the second biggest heartbreaker after Darktooth. Darktooth because of how much passion there is, and then June versus Triff because it literally could have just been June's set, because it was last sock game 5 and June kills himself in the most June bug way that happens. That has happened in like 5 of the last 10 sets that he's played with Laud. Like, that's what happens when he fights Laud.
What did he do?
He was hanging on the ledge, and then he was dead. He just dropped off and did nothing, and he was dead. It literally, that's happened to him multiple times against Laud. He just sees Green Peach. He's like, game 5, Green Peach, last hit, time to die. And he just rides out like a champ, and it was over. Triff, like, gave him a pat on the back, like, I'm sorry, dude. I mean, what do you say? Like, June has been struggling so much against Peach. He said that he played Triff over the weekend, and Triff was, like, giving him the hands. And then he gets that close to actually beating him in tournament and just says, you know what, I'm good. Like, you have this. Like, it's yours. It sucked.
That sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks.
I mean, what does June need to, like, what does he need to do to get a break around here, you know?
So then Triff went on to beat... Cody had a good tournament also, by the way.
Yeah.
Cody beat Over and
Laud.
Yeah, and Laud, and he almost beat Swedish. And
yeah.
Yeah. And then Swedish loses to Triff. And then as we know, Zain just wins.
Yeah.
So the thing I want to like sort of wrap up with is you had talked a lot about how this was the tournament for you that you were hoping it was going to be a really good weekend for Peach fans.
Yeah.
Now you said Laud had a bad tournament.
Yeah.
Triff had a fairly good tournament.
Yeah.
Going into the tournament, who would you have said was the better Peach?
Overall?
Yes.
Laud.
Going out of it, do you still think that?
Yeah.
He just had a bad tournament?
Yeah. I know people are always going to argue about who's better between Lod and Triff. Like, there's literally nothing I can do to stop people from arguing about that. You can just take my opinion as someone who's played them both and who looks at results. Nothing against Triff. Triff is so nice and so fun to play against and clearly amazing. Lod just has the results, barring this weekend. He just got 9th at Smash and Splash.
Yeah.
And Triff's best wins last year, I think, were Drugfox and Swedish, which Lod got both those wins a couple times and then more.
Okay, I just wanted to confirm.
I hate having to keep defending Lod's place as second place, second best Peach, because it sounds like I'm trash talking Triff.
No, I'm inclined to agree with you on.
Like, obviously, Triff hasn't had as much opportunity to travel and compete, but that's kind of how I've approached rankings, where if you have two players similar in skill, so like quote unquote similar in skill, and one of them has like a significantly higher quantity of results, statistically that means you're more confident in that person's placing. So I always give the edge to that person. That's literally how I do tiebreakers in the PR system that I use for MDVA and Tri-State.
That's smart.
Where like if the panelists have voted a person to be two people exactly tied, the person with the lower variance gets the nod, because the person with the higher variance, while one person may have put them at first place and then third place and 7th and 9th, the person who got 5th across the board, it's like there are enough results to consistently say this player has that ranking.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm inclined to agree. I am waiting for Lod to have a breakout placing, because that's the one thing Triff has on him.
What's Triff's breakout placing?
Like, don't park on the grass, arguably.
Remind me what happened there.
I think that was a good tournament for him.
The one I remember is that he got 9th at Shine last year.
Oh, yeah, that was cool. That was big. Okay, listen. I'm not going to try and name stats right now. He might have not even done well at Don't Park on the Grass, because I've been very bad at that in this podcast. But my sense of Triff is that when he's come to the US, a lot of the time he will get a really big win that makes him go 1 or 2 rounds further than he was expected to.
Yeah.
Like beating Drugfox, that was a huge... Everyone thought Sammy was going to win that.
Of course, yeah.
And so Triff has had a few breakout placements. Lod has had a lot of good wins where he shows in the scrappy winners round 7s or whatever, or sorry, losers round 7s, that he's the one to expect to win in those placings. He hasn't had a breakout placement yet.
Well, I mean, if you call 9th at Shine like Triff's breakout placement, like to get 9th at Smash and Splash, Lod beat Shroomed and Lucky.
Yes, that one was really big. I know I'm not talking about results when I'm saying this, as stupid as that is. I mean, and that's why I still think
I know what you're saying.
I still think Lod is better than Triff and has the results. I'm saying I'm waiting for Lod. This is purely a perception thing.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, as I know what you mean. Like, it's about the perception of the player.
Yes,
and so many factors affect a perception of a player.
Also, yeah, like beating Dewan gets you nothing these days. No one cares if you beat Dewan.
Hey, Dewan made a switch off of
Dewan
a year ago.
Dewan is amazing.
Yeah,
Dewan is amazing, and he's even been playing sort of well recently.
Yeah.
He almost beat Zain.
Yeah,
he should have beat Zain.
I know, but from the perception,
no one gives a shit if you beat Dewan anymore. It's not a big deal anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not.
All that being said about like the Lod Triff argument, I think if you're like actively campaigning to have one of them like clearly labeled, like just stop and just appreciate that they're actually like the yin and yang of Peach. And I think that's like a much cooler narrative than like which one of them is the second best Peach after Armada. Like, it's so cool to me that they're both so freaking different.
Yeah.
And both like so amazing.
Yeah, and then like, we need McCain to come back and be the chaos that separates them.
If they both learned from each other, I mean,
see, that's the thing this is why I miss McCain so much, is because Lod and Triff have such diametrically opposed playstyles, but there is one aspect of it that they both have never reached McCain in, which is
mashing down on the C stick.
yeah, which is no. Listen, Laud has a really good punish game, and it's really optimized. And Triff, when he opens you up, a lot of the time what it looks like is he gets a hit on you, and then because you're so surprised, you DI wrong twice and you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
McCain would get weird hits and combo you for 120% because he's just like, there's some level of restriction that McCain never learned to have.
Yeah.
And it meant that when things went his way, they went so far his way, and no one's ever looked like that since him. No one ever has.
All right.
I really think that.
Okay.
There are some SoCal locals where McCain will get like a forward tilt on Lucky and then just go.
I think there are a couple peaches not quite at Triff and Laud's caliber that have embodied that somewhat, like
Flotus.
Like I would say like Maybe and Cobb.
Yeah, Maybe's actually a really good one.
Have you seen Maybe's clips where he combos off up tilt?
Yes.
Like,
yes.
It's crazy. Also, one of the big reasons this was going to be a sick tournament for Peach was because Maybe was going to be there too, but his flight got canceled.
Yeah, that's sad.
That was so tragic because he just moved out of Tri-State and everybody wanted to see him again.
Yeah.
So don't fly Spirit, guys.
What I'm saying is
do it.
I want to see someone with a punish game that looks as stupid as McCain's. That's what I'm asking for. And I mean that in a really, really good way.
Just watch Kaon play. There was an interview over the weekend that came out with Reggie, or as I like to call him, Reggie.
Okay.
Do you watch Donkey videos?
Yep.
So you know that he calls him Reggie?
Yep. I just didn't make the connection there.
I die every time he says Reggie. I think it's so funny. But yeah, good old Reggie actually addressed UCF for the first time. Officially a statement from Nintendo on UCF. So here's what he said.
Yeah, he addressed it.
He basically said that Nintendo encourages, they want fair competitive play. They want consistent standards that allow Smash players to showcase their skills to the best of their ability. And that is why, to answer your question, we are not in support of this controller mod. So Reggie says they don't like UCF because...
Dude, whatever. I think that interview... that part of the interview is such bull because it's upsetting to hear that, but it's so obviously not Reggie's job to deal with that.
Yeah.
It's absolutely not him.
He didn't make that decision.
Making those decisions.
Yeah, of course.
There's no fucking way. So, whatever.
The other part of that interview that was interesting is that he... talked about the Melee community.
Yes, this was the part that was concerning to me.
Yeah.
So he said that Nintendo wants players to band together under one Smash game.
Exactly.
And it was sort of implied that, like, what support there has been for Melee has been until they could make a game that would band people together.
Yep.
And that if Melee doesn't just hop under this game... under Ultimate, it's just like, sorry for all your Nintendo sponsorships, which would mean we get UCF back.
Yeah, so that's cool. But basically he was like, we hope that Melee players see the mechanics that we're bringing to Smash Ultimate and, rally together and play this game. I mean, like, it makes sense, but it also is just, like, endlessly frustrating that they cannot understand, or at least... from this article, it seems that they don't understand that Melee cannot and will not ever be replaced by anything. There's no way to replace Melee.
Yeah, that's why I like talking to you about all this stuff. Because you've never fronted like this game is going to... You just like playing different Smash games, but you're also very clear that you like Melee is what... Like, nothing is going to...
There's literally nothing that can replace Melee for anyone who has ever played Melee. Like, did we talk about this on the podcast? Like, why I think Melee HD would not replace Melee and would actually be more harmful than...
Yeah, you've mentioned it before.
Like, I mean, there's the stupid cliche about, like, oh, Melee is like a perfect accident, whatever. But literally, if you change anything about Melee, like, it's not going to hold up. You can't port Melee into Virtual Console and assume that everyone would start playing Melee HD. And a lot of top players have said, like, oh yeah, like, I'd probably do it because it's good for the community. But have you considered the fact that you can't light shield in Melee HD? Because no controller or controller adapter has supported analog triggers since the GameCube.
Well, wait, but you would just use GameCube controllers, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but a GameCube controller on a Wii U adapter does not have analog trigger sensitivity.
Wait, it doesn't?
Smash 4 only has regular shields.
Wait, so when you play Dolphin, does it not?
Well, okay, it reads it in Dolphin.
Oh.
But not in any other game.
But that's not a hardware limitation.
Wouldn't that be a hardware limitation on the Switch itself for it to read analog trigger inputs?
Why?
I don't know.
It's just the way they program
because
the most recent Smashes.
I mean, isn't that like a software limitation where they just like...
Yeah, but if it's a software limitation, then it's within the game, not
But it's like any controller that's plugged in, the only analog input is going to be...
It doesn't read analog inputs, or the game doesn't read analog inputs. The adapter reads analog inputs because it works on Dolphin.
Okay, maybe it is possible.
And the Switch is just a computer, so it can...
Maybe that's possible.
I think it could probably read analog inputs because it can read analog control stuff. So it definitely has the capability to read analog inputs.
If that's the case,
I could be wrong, but
then someone tell us whether or not I'm being an idiot about this.
Okay.
But if that's the case, like, why isn't there GameCube Virtual Console when there is for every other console?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, asking the question, why isn't Nintendo not taking our money, is never a useful question because no one actually knows. Because they can take all of our money if they release Super Mario Sunshine 2 or Paper Mario. There's a million ways for them to do it.
Hey, man, they released... I don't know about that. They released some Paper Mario games. They weren't good. They were definitely trying to take our money with them, though. You think they were just like, oh, we're going to make a bad Paper Mario game?
Well, that's what they did.
But that's what they went in thinking.
Oh, yeah. Right.
They were thinking, no, this isn't going to be the follow-up to 1,000 Year Door. It's just going to suck.
Let me continue. So then should we be playing Melee on different input lag?
No, that's the thing that
because
really is an issue.
Because there's a different input. First of all, there's a different input buffer going into
Switch. There's a lot of reasons
monitors have different input.
I don't think Melee HD will ever work.
And then how about this? How are they going to address polling in any GameCube game at all? Because apparently that's how Melee or GameCube games work. Something along those lines, right? Are they just going to completely reprogram how controllers go into GameCube games? Maybe.
I do not know.
But if they do that, doesn't that change like a few frames of Melee? And wouldn't that be enough to like make some people feel a little uncomfortable about playing Melee HD? And then, I mean, that's just like me theorizing about hardware and software limitations. Not to mention the fact that like Melee is built around a certain type of culture that would just change if they released it on Melee HD. And if they do Melee HD, like, is there any hope that mechanics would be totally untouched and balance would be totally untouched? Because technically PAL is the most recent version of Melee, isn't it?
Yes, I agree with everything you're saying. I think Melee HD is a stupid idea, and I don't think it'll probably ever happen, first of all. And secondly, I don't think if it does, it'll do anything.
And like, they're so aware of the Melee community too.
Yeah, totally.
Like, they know that we're here. They've addressed us multiple times.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the point is that like Melee can't be replaced. Like, there's nothing that Nintendo can do to replace it. All they can do is attempt to support it.
Yeah.
And if they don't support it, it'll be just like it was for the last 16 years. And as long as, they could try and stop people from streaming it, but they tried that before, and now they're trying to play nice in their own special way.
Yeah, I wasn't super concerned about anything. I mean, like, it'll suck to lose Nintendo support. That'll suck really hard if it happens. But I don't think there's much we can do.
I just can't wrap my head around their approach to all this. I mean, like, I don't know, maybe Reggie saying that stuff is just an attempt to win as many people over as they can into Smash Ultimate, which is totally fair. I mean, if that game is up your alley more than Melee, or like the learning curve on Melee is too mounting and frightening, I totally understand that as well. Like,
yeah,
play whatever game you think is most fun. I
Yeah.
mean, I think all the Smash games are fun in their own ways, and I'm gonna play Ultimate. I'm gonna play it a lot.
Listen, if you guys need proof that nothing will ever do Melee what Melee did for you, because this has been very easy for me to understand for a long time. Go play Rivals, because Rivals is an amazing game.
Yeah.
Like I'm not shitting on Rivals when I say this. Rivals is fucking incredible. I love Rivals. I think a lot of the design decisions it makes are actually really healthy in comparison to Melee, like how it deals with parrying and stuff.
Rivals is probably still my second favorite platform fighter after Melee.
Yeah,
Smash games included.
It's a super duper duper amazingly well made game. And I will never play it instead of Melee.
Yeah.
Even as much as I love it, as much as it has characters that feel like the characters I want to play, and new characters, and it has wave dashing.
And it's better balanced.
Yeah, and it's better balanced, and there's not dumb ledge mechanics.
Yeah.
And there's still a ton of tech skill.
I actually had to stop playing Rivals for a while because I was getting too attached to it, and it was distracting me from Melee. I'm not even joking, guys. Rivals, shout outs to Dan Fornes and actually the whole team. Like, Rivals is freaking sick.
It's Fornace.
Is it actually?
Fornace.
I've also heard Dan Fornace.
I'm pretty sure it's Fornace because I called him Fornes one time. Not to his face, but to someone who knew him. And then...
It's a mystery.
Anyways, the last thing let's talk about SonicFox versus Zero.
Wait, real quick.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
Me, Zain, and Lod got to play Smash Ultimate.
Oh, yes.
With no items, 3 stocks, 6 minutes. Their bus came in at 8, and Nintendo closed at 9. We ran to the subway, we got on the train, we went over there, and we were the last people playing. And there was no line.
So sick.
It was awesome. People were like, wow, these guys are trying to wave dash. And I was like, yeah, we're top Melee players. Do you guys follow Melee at all? And they're like, yeah. I was like, yeah, that's Lod and Zain playing. They were like, oh, let's go, Zain. It's like, of course.
And then Lod beat him.
With
Sheik.
Yeah, the first match they played was Lod's Sheik versus Zain's Marth. It was like Lod versus Zain of old, when Lod could just go Sheik randomly and beat Zain over and over.
That's funny.
The set's actually really hype. Like, Zain's Lod down airs him at 30. Actually, he hits it at 17, and then Lod kills him in a sick way.
Yeah. Did you post that at all? You should post that.
Yeah, it's on my YouTube.
Okay.
Just look up Rishi on YouTube, like Rishi Zelda.
Cool.
And you'll find me playing Zelda versus Zane's Cloud. And Lod destroying my Inkling with his Pac-Man. Inkling is so fun.
I told you, right? The movement feels so good.
Inkling looks... And Inkling's normals and aerials are actually, good moves.
Fast as shit. Yeah. That's cool.
I would have beaten Lod's Pac-Man if I had my notches, because I missed my squang.
Okay, anyways, let's talk about SonicFox versus Zero.
And just so you guys know, that is me coining the term squang.
I want this to take... You're kidding me. Squang exists.
Yeah, it does. It's the Inkling angle, and I just coined it.
No, Squid forever.
Nah.
Squid Squangles have been the legend of Irvine.
Is he actually a squid?
Squid?
Yeah.
Yeah, his name's Squid.
But is he, physically a squid?
I don't know what to tell you. His name is Squid.
You know who is actually a squid?
It's Squid.
The Inklings.
His name is Squid. What more do you want?
If he doesn't play Inklings, I'm going to be so mad. Typo, can you notch my Smash 5 controller when I get it so I can get my squangs?
I want this to take literally 30 seconds because
I was thinking the same thing.
SonicFox versus Zero.
Guys, please at me on Twitter if you're trying to put money on SonicFox, because I'm taking all bets of any amount.
I will take literally any bet on SonicFox. Zero is
on
going
SonicFox?
No, for other people on SonicFox.
Yeah.
Zero will fucking destroy him.
Yeah.
3 months into the game.
No way. And I saw someone tweet like you guys have to realize it's not just 3 months. SonicFox has 6 months to study the game with top players, and it's not it's anyone's game really. You guys are idiots if you think that any player, any top player, or any top person in any field is capable of beating a top 5 Smash player in their game within 3 months of practicing it. You are an actual crazy person.
Yeah.
Or you just don't know anything about Smash, which is cool. And if you're hearing this and you're that guy, welcome to Analog. Smash is pretty cool. You should try playing it, but it's really hard and you're going to get destroyed.
Zero's going to fucking destroy SonicFox. I predict he rotates on him.
That's what I think he's going to beat him 10-0 with 10 different characters.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be anywhere. He might drop a game when he pulls out
when he's trolling or something. Yeah. But if you guys actually are trying to convince anyone that SonicFox is going to win, put your money down and then try and convince yourself that you're not about to lose however much money you're willing to put down on this.
Yeah, super happy SonicFox says he's playing Smash.
Did you see his string of tweets after calling out Zero?
No.
It was all like really nice stuff about Smash players.
Oh yeah, it was. He was talking about how Smash is amazing and it's not like normal fighting games, but it has so many.
Yeah, he's
cool
saying
things.
like you shouldn't. That's not a bad thing that it's not a traditional fighter. And he's like, top Smash players are OD. Is what he was saying.
Also, okay, wait. The beef was so fake.
Oh yeah, I mean,
because everyone at first Zero called out SonicFox, and everyone was like, "Whoa, Zero! There was no need for that."
Yeah,
because it was super weird and aggressive from Zero,
yeah.
And then they kept going back and forth, and then the first attempt came up, and it was like,
but I wonder if they have a venue yet, because a lot of like top venues have been tweeting at them, like with eyes emojis and stuff. Like Summit tweeted at them.
Yeah, Summit would be sick.
I think it either would have to be Esports Arena, or
it'll probably end up being Esports Arena.
It probably will be, but I think it'd be much sicker at Summit. I saw talk of combining FGC and Smash commentators. Like, imagine
Yipes and randoms.
Yipes. Yeah,
that would be sick.
That would be so funny.
All right, but I think that does it. I have to go, and that's been a long episode.
Yeah.
So thank you guys so much for listening, as always.
I guess we did have a lot to talk about.
I guess we did have a lot to talk about. We need to start scheduling our breaks later.
I know.
But that does it. Follow us at analogcast everywhere, analogcast@gmail.com. Subscribe so we can get 1,000 subscribers.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
We'll see you next week.
Yep.